Why do I feel like I'm just sweating my fucking ass off? I hate this time of year where it's like kind of hot, but kind of not. You know what? I hate every season. Every season I hate. Let me just be truthful about it. Okay. Let's wipe my face down. Oh. Okay. Hey guys, come on in. Clean my ears out. Oh. Hey Native, what's up? Ah, that feels good. Okay, wipe my face down. Alrighty then. Alrighty then. Alrighty then. Alrighty then. Okay. So yesterday I had talked to you guys about doing some makeup, and we were gonna Zoom today, but your girl, damn it, your girl didn't wake up on time because she stays up all night long watching TikTok. Damn it, I'm addicted. I'm addicted to the TikToks. So I will do some makeup and chat here. A bunch of you guys have been asking me about how to get off Suboxone, so I thought we could talk about some Suboxone tapering. I just made a video sharing Suboxone taper plan, and it's a 30-day, it's a tapering every 30 days, so it takes about 6 months to get off of 2 milligrams, but if you take it slow like that, you guys, I promise you it'll be worth it, okay? All right, so let's get into the drama. No, let's get into we need to moisturize my face. So, we're gonna get this out. We're gonna get this out. So, first we gotta use some sunscreen. Always put sunscreen on, always, okay? Even if you're tan, you need sunscreen because the sun is like, whew, it ain't no joke. I used to lay out in the sun, and that's why I have these sunspots on my face right here from laying out in the sun and catching tans when I was younger. Also, somebody told me this was a liver spot, which I believe that too, because my liver is shot. So who knows? Come on in, y'all. Come on in. We're gonna do some makeup. Okay. I hate just feeling sticky and hot. You know what I mean? Put you all right here. There we go. Okay. Let's get my hair straightened out. So, Suboxone tapering. Anybody in here? Y'all come on in. I'm waiting for my people to get here. Would y'all, if you don't mind sharing the video, guys, if you don't mind, share the video with somebody you think might benefit from watching it. That would be greatly appreciated, my dear hearts. And we will get started. So first of all, let's talk about shame, okay? Hey, Georgia. Let's talk about shame and the shame that is put on people that are on heroin or other opiates. Shame that people say, oh, you're not sober because you're on Suboxone. You're not in recovery because you're on MAT. You know, that's something that I am trying to help people to not feel, because there's so much judgment out there in the world, especially in our own recovery world. Other recovering addicts judging each other, you know? And we got to remember that not everybody is going to get sober the same way we got sober, you know? And that's okay. That doesn't mean that their way isn't the right way or the wrong way. It just means that they're different than us. You dig? I am also filming some story times that are way at the bottom of my feed. For those of you guys that have been following me since I started this TikTok account, I used to do a series called Crazy Shit I Didn't Seen While High on Methamphetamine. And I'm bringing it back, and I'm telling the stories that a lot of you guys have not seen of the crazy shit I did and I seen while I was high on methamphetamine. So be on the lookout for those stories. They're hilarious. A lot of them are hilarious. Some of them are sad. You might even cry. Hey, Victor, what's up, Victor? I have been up 3 days on ice. I remember back in the early 90s. Yeah, when it was real dope. Okay. Hey, Amber, what's up, girl? So, back in the 90s, whenever they were making anhydrous and red phosphorus dope, it was way stronger, but it's still strong either way. Hey, Matt, what's up, honey? So, what we're going to talk about today is some crazy shit. So, what do y'all want to talk about? Y'all ask me. I'm sick of it. No one talks about their meds or 420, my recoveries. Oh, I talk about my meds all the time, girl. I'm on Wellbutrin, I'm on Lexapro, and I'm on Suboxone, and it has helped me a lot. Oh yeah, girl, I'm so open-minded. Like, I support everyone, you know what I mean? I support everyone. I made a video yesterday about Kratom, and I think some people thought that I was like criticizing people on Kratom. I'm not criticizing you if you're taking Kratom. I'm just kind of putting a warning out there, because the way people on Kratom used to market Kratom is they would tell, hey Tara, they would tell people that Kratom wasn't addicting and that you couldn't form a dependency to it. And that's a lie from the pit of hell. You know what I'm saying? And so I know, because I have friends that have been on Kratom for years and are struggling to get off of it. So, hey Coyote King, I'm on Lexapro and I have really bad withdrawals from it also, so I totally understand, man. We just gotta take it slow. That's awesome, Crabby Old Lady. I love your name, Crabby Old Lady. That's gonna be my name soon. I'm on Suboxone, Wellbutrin, and Lexapro, and I have been sober for 5.5 years, 6 years in July. And I'm super excited, y'all, to make that 6-year mark, because I can't even believe I'm making it, you know? I'm not understanding either, Christy, and you need to get a new doctor. What state are you in? Let me know what state you're in, Christy, and I'll help you find a different doctor, okay? No problem, sis, no problem. Okay, Louisiana, I got you. If you'll DM me, I'll send you a telemedicine doctor you can see instead, okay? And they're not gonna rush you to get off of it. Here's the thing, you guys. Everyone is different. And if you get a doctor, Diana, I missed you, girl. If you get a doctor who has a viewpoint like Suboxone is just a crutch and they're not like up to date on what's working in recovery, then you can get a doctor that will try to rush you off, right? You need to find a doctor that is up to date on all the latest studies of Suboxone and how MAT is helping people change their lives forever. And so you need to find a new doctor if he's trying to rush you off. When I go on Suboxone, my doctor told me that usually he saw people that would get on and stay on for 1 year to 2 years before they ever even thought about trying to taper. Oh, it's okay, Diana. I totally understand, girl. I've been there too. But when you're going through that depression, Diana, try to make sure that you let us know how you're doing. Post on your TikTok and share how you're doing. It'll help you a lot, okay? Don't go into a cocoon and isolate, because that's not good. So what was I saying? Okay, so about Suboxone. A lot of doctors that are old school see it as just like they just think it's not a good thing. There's a lot of misinformation out about Suboxone, you guys. There's a lot of people who think that Suboxone is only meant for short term. There's a lot of people who say things like they don't know that naloxone is inactive in Suboxone. A lot of people think that they don't, the doctors don't know that. Okay, I was talking to a lady in our MAT group on Facebook, and she was telling me that a bunch of people were saying that the naloxone and Suboxone is what causes precipitated withdrawal. And that's not true. It's not. It's actually the buprenorphine, because naloxone can't cross the blood-brain barrier. We talked about this on my TikTok a couple of weeks ago, and people were going crazy telling me I'm wrong, and I'm not. I know I'm not. Well, have you talked to him about it, Christy, and said that you're not ready to see what he says? Sure, what's up, girl? I have any questions y'all got. I'm paying attention now, so I'm looking at the chat now, so you guys go ahead and ask me whatever you need to ask. So what are your thoughts on long-term versus short-term? Okay, so Lauren, I think that it should be up to the patient, basically, okay? I think that it should be up to the patient how long they want to stay on the medication. A lot of people, when they get on Suboxone, they want to stay on it because it helps them so much, okay? Now, there are a few people that we see that come into the clinic I work at, and they say things like, I only want to be on Suboxone for 6 months because I don't want to get addicted to it. I've heard really bad things about it, right? And that's when I sit down and I explain it to them. I say, well, Joe, have you been able to maintain sobriety all these years that you've been trying to stay sober? And they'll say, no. And I'll say, you relapsed every time, right? Yeah. And I said, okay, Joe, well, why don't we wait until you get about 6 months to a year of sobriety under your belt, and then we'll talk about you getting off the medication, okay? Normally by then, they've gotten to a place in their recovery where they're feeling confident and the medication has really benefited them, and they see how they need more time, you know, how they need more time to stay on the medication, okay? Now, when a person is on this medication and they're taking it as prescribed, they form a dependency to the medication, okay? There's a difference between active addiction and dependence to medication. There's hundreds of people all across the United States, thousands, millions, that are dependent on medications, right? So getting on Suboxone and being dependent on it is not the same thing as being actively using drugs and alcohol, okay? It helps. It can help with opiate addiction, and it's just for opiate addiction. But I'll tell you this, a lot of people that are on it are poly addicts like me, where they abused multiple substances. So Suboxone's just helped me overall in my whole life, you know, and I've been able to really change everything. And I was a knockdown, drag out, IV drug addict, you know. I don't know what to do because he doesn't see a problem, and when he tries to come off, he's like me. My boyfriend has been taking prescribed Ritalin, which I'm sure you know what that is. Okay, so he's on Ritalin. So Alina, he needs to taper off of that slowly, okay?
I think he's even here
Okay, so damn, really, Diana? Fuck him. Don't worry about it. Dr. B will handle it. Does the subs make you feel lazy, tired, unmotivated, and kind of just blah? At the beginning, when I first got on Suboxone, no, not at all. Now, the longer I stayed on it, but I don't think it's for... Here's the thing, you guys. I cannot come on here and tell you that it's Suboxone. I have gained a lot of weight in my sobriety. I don't eat healthy. I don't exercise. These are all things that could contribute to the reasons why I feel that way. And so I believe that what happens is we get sober, and if we don't start making good habits, right, then we do the things like I do and be lazy and not exercise and not eat healthy. And then when I start like going, damn, what happened, man? I don't like how I'm feeling. Then I'm looking for something to blame it. Well, it must be this Suboxone that's making me like this, right? Or it must be this Lexapro or this Wellbutrin. So I can't say with certainty that any medication is doing it. I can tell you that Suboxone did the job it was supposed to do, which was help me stay sober from opiates, you know? He's trying to taper off, but he becomes a monster. Yes, Christy, it is. Does help pain. Now, I remember everything, and I work with a bunch of people, and I see a bunch of different patients and clients every day, and I'm really good at remembering all them. In fact, I'm one of the best about it because I always remember who had what problem and all that kind of stuff. That's like my specialty. But that Ritalin, I'm telling you, Allie, he needs to get in to see somebody that will work with him and help him get off of it safely, okay? Because if he is like having those like hella emotional outbreaks and shit, like that's not good, you know? And we don't want anything bad to happen to him, okay? Freaking remember. Okay, so what else questions y'all have? Sorry to be blunt. So, I just want people to understand that everybody's different and not everybody is going to just use Suboxone short term. You know, that's why I'm a huge advocate for doing what works for you. Now, if you have a doctor who is like not letting you taper and you want to taper, now that's a different story. But I also would ask you, is it because you have relapsed recently? Is it because you're overtaking your medication? Are they trying to protect you? You know, a lot of times people will want to taper off and they're not ready because they're not even taking their medication as prescribed. Do you know what I'm saying? He needs to go to treatment, it sounds like, Alina. That's real talk, girl. Yeah, you have to do therapy and sponsor or a mentor or whatever program you want to get involved in. I support all of the programs. I think they're all great. But you need to get involved in some sort of program because when you're just trying to do it on your own, y'all, we co-sign our own bullshit. You know what I mean? Worked as a nurse for an infectious disease doctor. Another thing is he doesn't even see the problem, and I do. Yeah, Alina, if he's in denial, baby, that's hard. You know, that's hard when you're in denial. Oh, y'all, and that's what I see a lot of. I see a lot of people who get on the medication and then they just keep doing their drug addiction life. Like nothing changes. Except for now they're not doing heroin. They're just taking Suboxone every day. But they're still crazy as hell. They're still all up in some drama. And that's when you have to tell that person, if you are working with them and if you're a doctor or a therapist or their counselor, you know, like I sit people down and I tell them, we got to get you involved in some stuff. You need help other than just taking medication, you know? Just being on Suboxone is not going to cure your 20-year addiction to drugs, okay? It's not going to make your trauma and the hurt that you have from things that happened to you in your past go away. Like all these things have to be taken care of, right? And so that's why I do this stuff on my TikTok and we do all these live streams and stuff, because hopefully talking and sitting here and sharing with you guys what works for me, hopefully there'll be people that come in here, right? And they say, hey, you know, what did she say that was? I want to try that, you know? And they'll come and join our meetings and go to Mara, you know? But now that I've got my life together, it's like life is amazing now, you know? And I want all of you guys to experience what I have experienced in my sobriety, you know? I literally worked my way from the bottom up. And every one of you guys can do the same thing. You can. I 100% believe it with all my heart. You just have to want it. If you want to make it happen, you can make it happen, baby. Drugs are my solution until you deal with the issues that brought us there. Right, exactly. And see, a lot of people will try to use that little quote right there against people that are on Suboxone or methadone. And they'll say, there's no chemical solution to a spiritual problem. Baby, we're not using MAT to cure our addiction. Okay, we're not using it to mask our problem. People like me, I'm working my ass off in my recovery to learn every single day and be a better person, help others. And I did the 12 steps, so I know how people try to use the 12 steps to beat other people down that are in MAT, because I used to see it all the time. That's why I try to tell people, like, you got to find yourself a good AA or NA meeting, because a lot of places you go to, these people are so judgmental. It sucks, man, because the 12 steps saved my life. Okay? Oh, I know you're not saying that, Lauren. I'm just saying in general, okay? The 12 steps changed my life when I started working them. I mean, when I went through my 4th step with my sponsor and we met up and we read it and we did all of our stuff, you know, it was amazing. And so I try to help people find a group that's going to be supportive. But, you know, we started our own group. We don't, there's like a 12-step meeting now for people that are on Suboxone. It's called Mara, and it is bomb, dude. It is amazing. And I love it. The only thing is that Mara is like only a couple years old. I think it's like 4 or 5 years old. And so we don't have the sobriety and the sponsorship that they do in AA. And so it's easier to go into a program like AA and find a sponsor. But we're working. We have a book that's being published. So we'll have our own big book and everything, dude. Y'all have got to join Mara. If you're on Suboxone, y'all need to join Mara. It's amazing. Suboxone or any kind of medication. And you don't have to be on medication to join Mara, but it is like, it's for people who have experienced judgment in other programs and have felt like not included. You know what I'm saying? And so if you guys go to the link in my bio and go to my link tree, there's a link to Mara that y'all can check it out. But I would love for you guys to join and do Mara. It's awesome. But let's talk about, what else do y'all want to talk about? Bottom line is, it doesn't matter if you're on medication or if you're not. If you're not working on the inside, then you're not doing shit. Straight up. Right, ladies? Right, gentlemen? It doesn't matter if you're on medication or if you're not on medication. You have to be working actively on your insides, healing to become a better person and to stay sober and to heal from your disease. Bottom line. And there's a lot of people out there that are on medicines that are not doing this, and there's a lot of people out there that are not on medicines that are not doing it. And so when you are watching people on TikTok, I want y'all to use discernment when y'all are watching other people on TikTok and discern whether or not, hey, is this person, you know, really what they say they are? Because I have gotten trapped in the trap of watching content creators and getting so excited and wrapped up in liking them so much, and then realizing that, you know, they were doing stuff that they weren't supposed to be doing, and they were putting out this, you know, message, right? Hey, Trey. And they're putting out this message, but they weren't doing anything, any work, you know? And so it's one thing to talk about being in recovery. It's another thing to be doing the work. And it's hard. And you're going to cry. And you're going to go through ups and downs. Y'all, when I didn't, man, I'll just tell y'all, it's hard. Because then you finally realize the hurt that you have caused to people when you were in your active addiction and you start taking ownership for that, let me just tell you this. That's why I don't get down with the drug dealer was a doctor. That's why I'm not like, I don't like that, you guys. I understand that some of you guys might have gotten hooked because of the prescriptions that were prescribed to you. But I believe in healing and I believe in taking ownership. And so there's a line that we have to draw, and we have to take responsibility for what we went through and what we put ourselves through in our addictions, okay? It's easy to like put the blame on other people. Do you know what I'm saying? And we don't need to do that. We need to take responsibility. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's not saying that I don't see where a lot of people got hooked by doctors, and I understand that. But like, you guys, when I first got my first prescription, I was 17 years old, okay? I got a prescription for Oxy something. And it was for my teeth. I got my wisdom teeth pulled out. And hey Alex, go suck a dick. Suck my dick. So I had gotten a prescription for my wisdom teeth to get taken out. And so, and that prescription right there, I tried it when I was 17 years old, and I loved the way it made me feel. I loved the way it made me feel. And a lot of people could say, well, your doctor should have never wrote you that prescription. Well, guess what, you guys? I went and refilled the second refill, okay? And then after that, you know, I tried other pills because that pill made me realize that, damn, I like these pills. You know what I'm saying? And so, I can't blame that on somebody, you know? So, and I grew up back whenever the pill mills and all that stuff was happening, and you could go get a prescription from the doctor if you just paid cash. So I know all about it. I was there, okay? But I also know that in order for me to heal, that I have to take my responsibility for my part. And that's what I'm doing, my part. Do y'all understand what I'm saying? What kind of makeup are we going to do today? So just so you guys know, I have a troll following me around. She used to be a friend of mine, but she's turned into a troll. So she might pop in here and tell me to shut up or something stupid like that. She's probably watching this video right now, screen recording it. Hey, Miss, what's up, girl? Yes. That's what I was around when there was doctor shopping, you know? And so I totally understand, you know? Hey, Nicole, what's up, girl? Is that... No, that's not. I'll tell y'all a story, okay? So back in the day, this was probably like 2002 or 3. Y'all know who I'm about to talk about. I'm talking about the Terry twins. Me and the Terry twins. Aw, thank you, Mark. Thank you for that. That's such a thank you. Hey, Margie, what's up, girl? I see you. Hey, Terry. Hey, Renee. So, me and the Terry twins, we were off on a good one, y'all, and we had met this little old man, and he told us that he was going to this doctor, and I think it was like Mount Ida, some other part of Arkansas, but it was like in the country. And so he was going to this doctor, and all he had to do was pay the doctor $200 cash, and then the doctor would pull out this book and ask him what pills he wanted. Okay, little Chinese doctor. And so Chinese or Japanese, he was Asian, okay, you get it. And so he would pull out the book and he would say, you know, what is it, what you need? And so he would point to it, and then he would get that. And so this guy had like a prescription for like 90 Xanax bars, 60 Somas, oxycodone, oxycontin, you know, just a plethora of different pills. And so me and my girls were like, fuck, man, we should go do that. And so we called and we set an appointment, all 3 of us, and we drove up there with our $200 a piece. And I was so scared, you guys. I just knew that the feds were going to come and kick the door in, you know, and take us all to jail. Well, they call my name, you know, and I go back there and I pay the front, first of all, I pay the front people my money. And I go back there and there's a little Japanese doctor, and he literally pulls out a book that's a pill book, like the pharmacy books, and says, what is it that you need? And I sit there and I picked out exactly what I wanted. At that time, I was on probation and I needed a prescription for Klonopin so I could pass my drug test. Klonopin, and guess what else? Y'all are never gonna guess. What are those things called? God, why can't I think of the name? Oh gosh, not Oxycontin. God, I can't remember. Anyways, so it was like Oxycontin, and I got some of those. Takes people to this day and tells the doctor to write them. Wow, really? Not Roxy's. It was another popular tiny pill. I would shoot them up. I cannot remember. Not Perks, no. Perks ain't shit. I'm talking about like some hardcore fucking oxymorphone. Oxymorphone. And so I got me some of those oxymorphones. And then my sister went up with her boyfriend and they got oxymorphone, Xanaxes, and Somas. And so now we all got oxymorphone, Xanaxes, and Somas, you guys. And I just want you to imagine being at this house with all of us gone out of our gourd shooting oxymorphones, you know? And at this time, I didn't even know, like, I didn't realize at this time that I was going to be I was going to become addicted. Okay, I didn't realize until I started running out of pills and getting sick. And even the first time I didn't have opiates, I don't even think I realized that I was going through withdrawal. Do you know what I'm saying? Because like I didn't even know what was going on. But now I look back on it and I realize, damn, dude, I was going through withdrawal, you know? And I am glad I'm alive too, man. I'll tell you, I have overdosed so many times where they have found me in the parking lot of the IHOP here in Little Rock, you guys.
I love IHOP.
Baby, you don't need to be in here listening to these stories. I know you don't understand what I'm talking about, but go ahead and go with your daddy, please.
I need a game.
I know, go with your daddy, Nate. No, I'm not buying you another game.
Mom, there's a game that I wanted that Dad said I could buy.
Nate, please go with your dad. Oh, really, Diana? Yeah, that happens all the time, you guys. And so here's the deal, you guys. If your doctor is like, if you have been there where we were getting all those prescriptions, yeah, that is definitely not cool. Hey, please, Nate, go, please.
How do you delete games?
I don't know. Go talk to your daddy about it. Nathaniel.
This one right here.
Nate, go and ask your dad to do it. One.
I hate you so much.
Sorry. I am. He knows all about my addiction, but I don't want to talk about stuff that OD and stuff in front of him. Yeah, my son likes to sit in here and eavesdrop on my conversations with you guys, and his daddy is literally right here in the next room. So that's why I'm telling him to go in there with his daddy while we talk about grown-up stuff. You know what I mean? So I'll tell you all about the time that I overdosed. Okay. So, okay, I was living in sober living, and I was staying at this place called Williamsburg here in Little Rock, Arkansas, okay? So I was living at Williamsburg, and I was doing really good, you guys. I had about 6 months sober, and I had done this many times at this sober living, because they always took me back. They were so good to me, you guys. Like, they really wanted to help me. They wanted me to get sober, you know? And so they would take me back when I would relapse. And so I had relapsed, and they took me back, and I had been there for about 6 months, and I had been doing so freaking good. I mean, my counselor was so proud of me. Everybody was proud of me. I was proud of my damn self, you know? I was playing fast pitch softball. We had our own little league at the treatment center. Like, we were having a good time, you guys. And what had happened was a boy moved in. This boy moved in. I will never forget his face, you guys. His name was Tyler, and he had crystal blue eyes and sandy brownish blondish hair. And he was younger than me. But baby, he was a bad motherfucker. Okay? He was dope. He used to cook meth. Okay, so you know me and the meth cooks, we always hung out. I always hung out with people that cooked meth for some reason. I think it was because I like to do meth, so we just ended up finding each other. Well, anyways, this guy moved in, and we kind of had our eyes set on each other, and so we started talking to each other. We started hanging out. We started going to meetings together, and against my better judgment, we started sleeping together. Okay. We were sleeping together to the point where at night when we would all go to sleep, I would sneak out of my window, go around to his window, jump in, and then, get it on. Fall asleep for a couple hours and have to jump back out my window and go all the way around the halfway house to the other side. And so we were getting it on all the time. And I was really starting to catch feelings for him. Like, he was younger than me, but not too much younger than me, and I liked him, you know what I mean? So we were all kind of like skating on thin ice. Like on the weekends when we would take passes, we would go and get hotel rooms together, and we all knew we weren't supposed to be doing that, you know what I'm saying? And so one weekend we all went and got a hotel room together, and shit went south and we all relapsed. And this is the kind of shit that happens in sober livings whenever you're doing shit you're not supposed to be doing. So shit went south and we all relapsed. And he relapsed bad. And it was to the point where like he was freaking out, like calling me, accusing me of being with other people, just like really aggressive. It was kind of scary. And when you're hooking up with dudes from the halfway house that are drug addicts like yourself, you don't know what they're like. You know what I mean? You don't know whether or not they beat their girlfriend's asses. You don't know whether or not when they get high, they just watch porn and fucking jack off all day long. I mean, y'all, when you're on drugs, especially hardcore drugs like meth and cocaine and heroin, IV especially, you never know what's going to happen with a person. And that's kind of like what was happening, is I didn't know what was going to go on. Well, this dude was one of those people who, when he was shot up, he got mean as fuck. Okay. And so he had been banging coke, and we had gone off on a good one. We stayed gone from the treatment center. We didn't go back, and we were house hopping from place to place, sleeping over at different people's apartments and shit. Well, after about a good week of fucking banging coke and taking pills and shit, he fucking flew over the cuckoo's nest, and he went on a good one and came, and I was at work trying to work my job because I, for some reason, always think I can work when I'm high. So I was at work, and he had my car, and he came to pick me up that day. Okay. Cause I had, I got off work and he had my car. So he came to pick me up, and he picked me up and he moved to the passenger seat, okay? And I was sitting in the driver's side and I was driving. We are driving down the interstate, and this motherfucker pulls my arm and injects me with cocaine. Like, injects me while we're driving down the interstate. And it's like so much at one time that like my eyeballs start going like I can't see. Like when you inject cocaine, if any of y'all have, you know what I'm talking about. And we're driving down the road, and the road's like going like this, and I'm like, I'm like thinking we're gonna crash on the interstate. I'm in Arkansas. So he grabs my purse and throws it out the window on the interstate. Okay, and I'm scared now, like shit's going down. I think he's gonna kill me or something. And so he tells me to drive to our friend Chaz's house. So I drove over to Chaz's house, and we got there, and he took my phone and he took the SIM card out of it and put it in his pocket and tied me up to a chair. Okay, so I'm sitting in this chair, and they got my feet. He has my feet tied to the legs, and my arms tied behind me. Okay, and my friend Chaz, who I have known for like 5 years, ever since I moved to Little Rock, is freaking out. He's like, dude, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? Like, why are you tying her up? Like, what is going on? Like, he's freaking out. And Tyler is just like out of his gourd. I don't even know what planet he was on, but he was hallucinating. He was accusing me of sleeping with people. He was accusing me of robbing people, just all kinds of outlandish shit. And I was at work at Kroger. So somehow, some way, Chaz talks him into letting me go, right? He's like, let her go, give her her phone. And so I don't know if he offered him more drugs or what, but he lets me go. He gives me my phone back. He gives me my SIM card back. And you guys, I am not even lying to you. Do you know your fight or flight, when you feel that fight or flight thing? That kicked in. And I mean, I was running so fast, y'all. I fucking was bam, out the door, jumped in my car and rode out. I drove back up the interstate to find my purse, got it, and went back to the treatment center. I'm inside the sober living and I'm crying. I'm at the front desk and I'm like, I need help, you know, and they're like, Nicole, you're kicked out, you know? And so I went back to the back smoking area where everybody was smoking cigarettes. And I was like, dude, I think I'm overdosing. Like there's something wrong, because he had shot me up with cocaine, and I had already been shooting oxys and all this stuff. And I don't know what else he put in there. And so I'm barely driving, and I'm like, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna overdose. And so I got in my car from the back smoking area, and I drove across the street to IHOP, parked my car, and that's the last thing I remember. I woke up in the hospital. The police had found me face down on my steering wheel, and they had called a bunch of people in my phone to see, you know, if I had any family in the area, and I had OD'd, and they took me to the hospital, and that's where I woke up, in the IHOP parking lot. So that's that story. But and some of you are probably going to go, well, did you get sober? I'll tell you what happened. I came out of that hospital, and no, I didn't get sober. I moved in with my friend, Mr. Lawrence. Mr. Lawrence was an old triple OG. He's a black guy. He was old as hell, like 67 years old. And he had a baby with this girl named Nichole, who was like 20 years old or some shit. And so Mr. Lawrence and Nichole let me move in with them as long as I paid half their rent. And so I was like, okay. And like I said, I was working. I always worked at Kroger, you guys. Kroger, they put up with my shit for a long time. And so I worked at Kroger, and I would get high and go to work and, you know, do my job and then come home. Well, they let me move in, and they were just as bad as I was. So now, not only do I have a place to stay that's right by my work, but Mr. Lawrence also has pills that he would sell. And so I would always get pills from him. And so I didn't get sober. I didn't get sober until like 4 years after that, 3 or 4 years after that. So, damn, there was a bunch of y'all in here. Where did y'all come from? I looked up and there's like 70 people in here. I have a bunch more stories, you guys, and I could tell them all to you guys all day long, but I'll tell you this. If y'all want to see my stories, and you want to see them all the way through, you can go to my YouTube channel, okay? And I have, where were your kids at this time? I only have one son, and he wasn't born yet. Oh no, honey, I've OD'd many, many more times than that. One time I ended up in a coma. You want to hear about that story? So many of you guys are new here, so I guess I have to tell the stories again. Okay, one time I ended up in a coma for 7 days. I'll tell you what happened. So, and you know what? This was the story that I had just put up on my TikTok that y'all were asking for part 2 too. So, I'll tell you what happened. So, I had been over at my friend Tara's house, and for some reason, I had been up for a couple days, and I started hallucinating and seeing, I seen all these freaking, they're the little blue Roxys all over the ground, right? All over the ground in her apartment. I seen all these pills on the ground. Now, mind you, I had been up for like 4 or 5 days on methamphetamine and Roxys. I was always shooting those motherfuckers back to back. And so I went over to her house, and all of a sudden, I just start seeing these pills everywhere. And if I ever get Tara on here to tell y'all, she'll tell y'all the story too, because she still reminds me about it to this day. We're not friends, like we don't hang out or anything, but anytime we like run into each other, she always brings it up and says, do you remember the time you thought all those Roxys were on the ground? Oh yeah, okay, Margie, yes, I will. So I was over at Tara's house. I seen all these blue Roxy's all over her floor. So I was like, fuck it, man. These are Roxy's. I'm gonna shoot them up. I'm taking them. You know, somebody's wasting all these pills. How dare they? And so here I am on the ground, picking them all up, putting them in a spoon, right? Picking the imaginary Roxy's up and putting them in a spoon. My YouTube channel is called Real Talk Recovery. Same as here, Real Talk Recovery with Nichole on YouTube. So I'm picking up all the Roxy's, you guys. I'm putting them in a spoon, and I mix up whatever this concoction is, right? It's like a concoction of like cat hair, cat litter, fucking carpet fuzz, who knows God what else. And I mix up some water and I inject it. I inject this nasty ass shit into my veins, okay? The next thing I know, it was almost automatic. I spiked this fever that was like so high. My face turned blood red and I started pouring sweat, y'all. Pouring sweat. And I looked at my friend Tara, and that's when I started hallucinating that people were on the news and they were coming for us. So I walked out the front door and went over to the next door neighbor's house. Now I didn't know the next door neighbor. The next door neighbor didn't do drugs or nothing like that. And so I just wandered my happy drug addict ass over there, and she was worried because she was like, girl, we're calling 911. Something ain't right. Like, we need to get you some help, right? And so the next door neighbor called 911 and the cops showed up. The cops showed up and they were like, we're taking you to the ambulance. So the ambulance came and took me, and they were holding me in the hospital, right? And they can't really keep you there, you know. And so eventually I got pissed because while I was in the hospital, let me just explain y'all how vivid these hallucinations are. While I'm in the hospital, I'm seeing this guy named Joe that I used to date. A lot of y'all know who I'm talking about. Joe has one leg, okay? So I'm seeing Joe in the hospital with his one leg, skating from side to side while I'm in the hospital bed talking to me. And I'm wondering why they're holding me in here and not letting me just go with Joe. I'm like, why won't y'all just let me leave with Joe? You know, so I said, fuck it, I'm out of here. I'm leaving. Fuck this bullshit. And so I left. I left AMA with boxers and a t-shirt and some flip-flops on, and I went walking down Markham Avenue. I'm looking everywhere. Everywhere I look, people are propositioning me for sex, okay? I'm walking down Markham Avenue in West Little Rock, and people are stopping and asking me if I'm a prostitute. Were they really doing that? No, but I thought they were. I could have sworn they were all asking me for sex. They were yelling it out their window. So I thought, you know what? I'm gonna grab a stick. So I grabbed this big ass stick from the side of the road and I start waving it at these cars, telling them, I'm not a prostitute. I'm not a prostitute. Well, you know, eventually I got down the road to my job, to the Kroger I worked out. And it's a 24-hour Kroger. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to go inside. I'll walk upstairs and I'll call my friend. So I called my friend, Robin. She was a girl that used to sponsor me in AA. And she's super sweet and she was still sober. So I called her and I was like, Robin, man, I need help. Like, I'm out here and I'm hallucinating. I have relapsed, you know, and I told her the truth. And so her and her boyfriend came and got me. Okay, they came and got me. We went and got my car and they were like, you can come to our house and you can sleep it off. You can sleep here, right? And so I was like, okay, that's great. I'll stay the night here. I'll get myself together and everything will be fine. Y'all, stay the night there. I don't even know if I slept that night, but all I remember is I got up the next day and I was off and running on another tear, okay? So instead of staying at Robin's house, I decided I was gonna go down to my friend Gerald's house in Southwest Little Rock, okay? Now mind you guys, when I say I went to sleep, when you're on dope and meth, it's like your eyes might close for a second and then you're back up and then they'll close for another second, but you're not like really getting any kind of sleep. And so I go down to my friend Gerald's house and Gerald and all of them are shooting Roxy's. And so I just pile in the back bedroom. I'm like, oh hell yeah, let me get some. So I got me some Roxy's. I'm shooting Roxy's with them and we're all chilling out. Well, I was also really skeezed out on meth. And so while I was there, I started to hallucinate. That Cy from Duck Dynasty was coming out of the fucking vents in their trailer. Do you want to know why it was Cy from Duck Dynasty? I think it was because at that time in that year, they had been playing all those damn reruns. Okay? All them damn reruns of the fucking Duck Dynasty shit. So I'm sitting in this trailer, y'all. A shot out, nasty ass trailer, okay? I'm talking like syringes all over the floor in the bedroom, fucking cups of water, bottles of water, fucking broken glass, fucking barely any electricity, just the floor's falling in and shit. And I'm sitting in this recliner, this nasty ass dilapidated recliner that the fucking shit fucking stinks. And I'm sitting on this recliner and I'm looking at the vent. And Cy from Duck Dynasty is tucking his head out of that vent with his beard hanging out. And I am scared. I am so scared I cannot move from that fucking recliner. Like, I am scared to the point where I'm just frozen, right? I'm frozen. And so eventually I got up the guts to get up, right? And go talk to my friend Gerald. And I started telling Gerald, there's just, I'm seeing Cy, all these things, I'm seeing this, I'm seeing that. And he was not having it, girl. They were so annoyed with me. They were like, somebody get her the fuck up out of here. She can't handle her dope, okay? And so they gave me a Seroquel. They gave me 100 milligram Seroquel and told my ass to go lay down, right? Wrong, bad idea. Seroquel only intensifies a person that is having psychotic hallucinations. At least that's what it did for me. And so I took that Seroquel and I listened to what they told me to do like a good girl, and I went and laid down. Well, let me just tell you all this. I went and laid my ass down. I probably laid down for like 20 minutes, and I got up and I fucking took off, ran out the front door of that trailer. Now, it's 3 a.m. by this time, okay? It's 3 a.m. in the morning, and we are in Southwest Little Rock, which is the hood of Little Rock. Like, you don't go walking down Southwest Little Rock as a woman alone, because you could get raped, you know? Somebody could steal you and kill you. And so, but not me, I'm going. And so I start walking down the road, and as I'm walking down the road in Southwest Little Rock, I'm seeing all these things. I'm seeing everything. I'm seeing my job, my boss from my job is right over there talking to me on the other side of the road. Now, mind you guys, I got on a pair of fucking boxer shorts, flip-flops, and a tank top, a wife beater, okay? So I'm walking down the road and I'm seeing my boss from Kroger. I'm seeing all kinds of people I know, and I'm having full-blown conversations with all these motherfuckers, right? Full-blown conversations. But something stops me dead in my tracks. I'm like, hold up, hey. And I see this lady's porch, right? And this lady's porch, in my eyes, has weed brownies strewn all over her porch, all the way up to the windows. I'm talking like, imagine if somebody got a dump truck full of marijuana brownies and drove it and dumped it on your front porch. That's what I was seeing on this lady's front porch. So it's 3 a.m. What do if you see somebody that has weed brownies all over their porch? Well, I don't want her to get in trouble by the police, so I ran over there and I jumped on her porch and I started trying to sweep them brownies off. I grabbed a stick, a broom, whatever it was that was on her porch, and I started frantically sweeping these fucking imaginary weed brownies off her porch. I'm like, okay, like 3 a.m. This is what the cop told me, okay, afterward. This little Mexican lady pokes her head out the window. She only speaks Spanish. He said I scared her so bad, she forgot how to speak motherfucking Spanish. She called 911 and slammed the door. So I'm out there, and all of a sudden, blue lights. Woo, 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 the cops pull up, and I see the cop car, and I'm standing there, and I swear to you, in my eyes, this is what I see in my hallucination. The cop comes out, and he's putting the gun on me, and I'm going like this, bobbing and weaving, bobbing and weaving, bobbing and weaving, bobbing and weaving. And he's like, ma'am, all I can see is that this cop wants to kill me, right? This cop is trying to kill me. And I truly believed it. I believed 100% that cop was trying to kill me. He wasn't, y'all. They were trying to help me because I was fucking really bad off. Well, he finally got me to settle down, and he got my phone and he called my mom. And my mom said, please take my daughter to the emergency room. She's a drug addict. She's been in her active addiction for the last 12 years, and we've been doing the best we can to support her, but we don't know what to do. And so they took me to the emergency room. They took me to the emergency room, and when I got into the ambulance, let me just tell y'all, for some reason, that ambulance driver scared me so bad, and I thought that ambulance driver was trying to shoot me up with cocaine. So they had to chain me down with the things in the back of that ambulance because I was screaming and yelling and jumping around and cussing that dude out because I thought that they were all trying to hurt me. And so when they got me to the ER, they put me in my own room, and I was sitting there. And the last thing I remember was the lady asking me to pee in a cup. And I don't remember anything that was happening actually after that. But what I do remember is all of a sudden I'm sitting on the bed and I'm looking at the white walls, and it's really bright. And there's these frogs all over the wall. Green ones, yellow ones, red ones with the little polka dots on their back, even blue. And you know how they told you back when you were kids that if you go to South Africa and you find one of them frogs and you lick their back, that it'll make you trip like you're on acid? Well, that's what I was imagining these frogs were. And so I got up and I started licking the walls in the fucking emergency room. Licking the walls. This is so fucking true that y'all don't understand. I told the story so many times, but it's so true. And so they come in and they put me on the bed and they're like, ma'am, what did you do? What did you do? Did you do bath salts? They kept asking me, did you do bath salts? Did you do bath salts? And I'm like, no, I didn't do bath salts. I shot up methamphetamine, Roxy's, some concoction of fucking dirt and shit I got off the ground, and, fucking took a Seroquel. That's it. That's all. That's all. And so they cannot figure out why I'm not coming down. So they give me a shot of Thorazine and Halidol. And that does not knock me out. And so they come back after an hour and I am still in there. Only now I am looking under the crack of the door. The crack of the emergency room door is shut and I'm looking under that crack. And I kid you not, Miss Marva, Miss Frida were standing on the other side of the door smoking a crack pipe and blowing the crack smoke to me under the door. So I'm sitting under the door where the crack is at, sucking the crack smoke in. That Miss Frida and Miss Marva, these ladies I work with at fucking Kroger who taught me how to fry chicken, are blowing the crack smoke to me. Okay, and so the emergency room people come back in there and they give me a second round of Thorazine and Halidol. And then that's when everything just went black. And I don't remember nothing after that. After that, 7 days went by. And I woke up on the 7th day and my mom was sitting beside me. And she looked at me and she said, do you know how long you've been here? And I said, no. She said, you've been in a coma for 7 days. Your internal organs were shutting down. And I was crying and I felt horrible that my mom and dad had to come up there. And I remember thinking about, well, all I could think about was how I wanted to get out of there so I could go get high. And my mom was like, where's your car at? My dad was like, where's all, and so it was just like, everything was a blur. And I told him, it's at Gerald's house. That's where I was last. And so when they discharged me from the hospital, I ate something, I got something to drink, and they ended up discharging me from the hospital, and my parents took me and I got my car and I went back to my friend Robin's house. I packed all my stuff, and my parents let me come back to their house, and that's where we sat, and I called, so many treatment centers, treatment center after treatment center after treatment center. And I was able to get into a treatment center in Little Rock, started treatment, and then guess what happened? I stayed for like 30 days, and I was supposed to move into the sober living, and then I relapsed.
Sponsored by Fritos.
But that is the story of how I hallucinated Cy from Duck Dynasty out at the trailer. And that was like a 3-day fucking excursion of so many days that were intertwined. And I had shot up a bunch of stuff, but I had shot up some, what I had shot up that day was I shot up methamphetamine. He's very smart. He's a genius still. I shot up methamphetamine. I shot up Roxy's. I shot up some dirty ass, nasty ass water, and I ate that Seroquel. But I had been doing it for so many days. I had been using dirty syringes. I was just really, it was bad. But I caught hepatitis C after that. I didn't catch hepatitis C then, but I catch hepatitis C after that, okay? I caught hepatitis C after I gave birth to my son. Because for those of you guys that don't know, when I was pregnant with my son, I was under the influence of methamphetamine. And I gave birth to my son while I was on methamphetamine. And my son is such an amazing miracle. And he's the reason why I've gotten sober. He saved my life. Roxy is oxycodone, 30 milligram oxycodone. Did your kids ever get taken? Just curious. Yes. So my son actually got taken away from me when he was 2 days before his first birthday. So that story I just told you happened in 2011. Okay. Now, I didn't get sober until 2015. I gave birth to my son in July 4th of 2014, and July 2nd of 2015, CPS came to my house and took my son. I was high, okay? I was bad off on drugs. My friend was also bad off on drugs, and she got mad at me, and she called CPS on me. And, you know, I could be mad at her, you guys. I could be mad at her, and I could, you know, hold a grudge against her. But if I have to be completely 100% transparent and honest with you guys, it saved my life. It saved my life getting my son taken away from me, because it fucking woke my ass up. The moment they came and took my son, made me give my son to them, I said, hell fucking no. I will not let my addiction take me. I am not going to surrender my child to you pieces of shits. Okay? And I fucking got to work. I went into treatment right away. See, if you're a drug addict who's had your kids taken away and you don't go into treatment right away, you're doing yourself a disservice. Just bite the bullet and go. Beg them to take you. Do you know what I did? They said, we're taking your kid away. I spent all day long on the phone calling treatment centers until I found one that would take my insurance. Because at the time I had Obamacare insurance. And so the CPS wouldn't pay for me to go to treatment because I had that insurance. So I found a place that would take me, and I called them and called them and called them. You have to advocate for yourself. And so when I had Nate taken away, I advocated for myself, and that's how I got better. You know, I wasn't going to just fucking forfeit my child. You know what I mean? And if you guys are in the same situation, just don't lay down and fucking get fucked. Get yourself up and fight for your son or daughter. You know, like, stop making excuses and saying, well, I just can't do it, or it's just so hard, or, you know, nobody cares about me. No, you have to fight for your kids, you know? Oh, I haven't made the second video yet, Wiccan Widow. We just actually told the whole story here on live. I just told the story here on live, but I'll put I'll put the second part up soon, I promise, okay? Did they not test him when he was born to know you weren't sober? So, Britt, when my son was born, it was July 4th. Somehow, some way, I slipped through the cracks, girl, because I'm telling you, I had shot up meth that night and taken a capsule full of meth. And that night, and then that morning at 5 a.m. I went into labor. And so I was high, and I also took Xanax and methadone, trying to calm myself down because I was afraid they were going to know I was high when I went into the to give birth. And so I do not know how that I slipped through the cracks, but my son was born completely perfect. His APGAR scores were great. He was perfect. There was nothing wrong with him at all. And I got to go home with him. I think it was 2 days I stayed in the hospital because they had to stitch me up and all that kind of stuff. And then I went home with him. He wasn't born with withdrawals or anything. No, ma'am. He was a miracle. My son was a miracle. There's no other way to explain it than my son was a miracle. God protected my son from me. I'm telling you guys. My son was the chillest, happiest little baby. He wasn't crying. He wasn't shaking. Nothing. He was completely normal. He was completely healthy and fine. He was a miracle. God delivered my son and kept him safe because I couldn't do it myself. I used drugs the whole time I was pregnant with my son, and the same day I gave birth to him. God wrapped his arms around my son, and he made a miracle happen. I cannot explain it any other way to you than that something else happened. A miracle. God, it's the only thing I cannot explain it any other way. Yeah, Julie, yeah. And he was the reason why I finally got my life together. So what happened was I had my son and he was perfect. And so for the next 90 days, I buckled down and I tried to stay sober. But I didn't know how to stay sober, okay? I didn't know how to stay sober. I was on methamphetamine, I was on oxy, I was on Xanax, I was on methadone, I was taking all kinds of stuff. But methamphetamine was the main drug that I was using.
Hey, Mommy.
Yes, my love.
Can you,
Nate, you want to say hi to everybody?
Hi, guys.
Tell them, say, how old are you?
7.
6. What's your name? What's your name?
Nate.
Nate. He'll be 7 July 4th.
Can you open this?
Yeah. And
my finger's bleeding.
Listen to me. You get good grades in school? Yeah? Mm-hmm. And
am I the smartest kid?
You're the smartest kid I know. Your mom takes good care of you? Except for whenever I don't get him his games he wants. He wants to buy a $60 game, and I told him not. I said, when we go to your Nana and Grandpa's house tomorrow, you can try and hustle them for the money. But I got to put my foot down.
Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
He wants a $60 Nintendo Switch game, you guys. And me and my husband, we used to buy them for him all the time. Give me a knife, please, baby. But we used to buy them for him all the time, but we have gotten to a point where we're having to say no now. And we were parents out of guilt.
I want to hear that noise again.
Okay. Thank you. We would parent out of guilt because we both were struggling with our addiction when he was born and when he got taken away from us. And so we would buy him all these things and he got spoiled. And so now we're trying to reverse that.
Spoiled rotten.
That's right, baby. That's right. Spoiled rotten.
I'm going to go get a new game.
But he's a really good boy. How can you lower your dose with a pill? Because it breaks weird. Hey, Jenny. Jenny, what pills are you on? If you don't mind me asking. And there's a way to do, I think it's called a water titration. If you will go on YouTube and type in how to taper with pills, how to cut pills, it'll show you on there. There's a couple of videos with different ways to do it if you need help like that. Now, subs. Okay, if you're taking Suboxone, girl, get on the strips so that way you can cut them in little slivers. We were talking about that when I first started. We were talking about Suboxone tapering, and somehow we got into story times because y'all know I can't stay on one topic. Y'all know I can't. And you know what the best thing about this right now, you guys, is this video is being recorded. So what I will do after this is I'm going to download this video and I will post it to my YouTube channel so you guys can watch. If y'all want to see the story time, if you missed it, you'll get to hear the story time because I got into this last story time, didn't I, y'all? I love telling stories, y'all. I love it. But I'm here. Listen to me, you guys. I've been sober for 5.5 years. I'm here to help anyone who needs support or help. Like, it's my passion helping people. And I don't want any of you guys to feel like you're alone or you can't reach out for help. You will never, I will never judge you, okay? I will speak truth to you, though, okay? Oh, hold on, guys. That's Dr. B.